Hey there, and welcome to the 8th installment of Let's Code. So last time we did a whole bunch. We kicked off by implementing all of the UX for the send interaction. We set up a simple goalpost on the server to receive messages. We created an adapter to decouple the transport interaction, and we finished it all off by pushing that adapter down into our domain, and we injected it right into our root component. So this time we're going to pick up right where we left off. We'll start by pushing the adapter down into the entry component to allow it to send messages out. We'll talk a little bit about partial application, and then finally we'll cutify our code by getting out the old kitten cannon and going to town. So with our goals in mind, let's code.
Okay, so what we need to do now is pull the send method that we have that's being passed into this controller in app layout, or into the component in app layout. We need to pull out this send message right there. So we can do that really quick with some destructuring here, and we are going to take send out of attrs, and from there we will go ahead and return our controller object, and we'll just create a nice little function here called send message. And in this method we will go ahead and just call send with let's see here, I believe it's chat colon message. Let's just verify that real quick. We'll jump up here to server and jump into sockets and check our goalpost here. And it is chat message. Yep, that's exactly what we need to send it to. So now we're going to go into here and just pass message along. We are going to need to, of course, bring that in. Alright, so message should make it into that send message there. Alright, now to make this easier, first of all, let's get our actual controller in here so it's possible. We are going to go ahead and do a quick spread just to make it easy on ourselves of the controller across the entry. So that way it will just add it to the ATTRs and entry as a property. So we can now come here and just verify that yes, that is the thing that we are doing. We'll bring ATTRs in there, and let's do a console.log with ATTRs. Give that what I like to call a save. Head over here, and we should have send message. Yep, we have send message. That is a function that takes message. So that's really good. Let's go ahead and do some more destructuring, and this time we'll rip out send message, and let's make this all beautiful. And we're of course going to grab that from ATTRS. And from here inside of our controller we should be able to find the emitter bit right here. Yep, this is where we want to put that in, and we are going to call send message, and we are going to pass message like that. So now at this point in time I think we are sitting pretty. Let's let this build and we'll give this a test. I'm sure I messed something up somewhere, so we'll do test 2 pretend like the sound check, and look at that, we got message test 2. So it is hitting our goalpost, which means we're good. So holy heck yeah, and holy heck yeah, made it in there. So that's pretty amazing. There is a lot of cleanup that we're going to have to do on this right now. We created another bit of domain leakage. We're sharing too much information, or we have to be privy of too much information, and that's easily fixed. Also, there's ways we can clean the send message about for doing what we're doing here, so we will address that in our lipstick commit. But right now let's just see what we have here. We'll do a quick GD against this. Here is where we're doing our adapter, and that's where we hook our send method up to socket.emit. This is us passing in the adapter into our application domain. Here is our goalpost that we have checked. Looks like we removed the evil into house bit. Aw, that makes me so sad. Here we brought in M because we're going to do JSX, right, on out layup. app layout there, and we need that M symbol available. And it looks like we're spreading all the adapter methods across app layout, which is good. That's what we want. And then here in app layout, we got everything in the nice little controller view function looky-loo. Looks very nice. And yeah. Okay, we've spread controller across that. And here we pull send message off of the ATTRs and actually emit the function. So yeah, this is looking pretty darn good. So we'll go ahead and do a git add on everything and give this a little testy poo. Looks very nice. And we'll go ahead and git commit all, and we'll say added ability to send messages to server. All right, so now we have that, I think we're about ready for some refactoring. Okay, so let's get started on some general cleanup here. One of the first things we can address is this send message function. So you'll notice that we're always passing in to send, we're always passing in the same first argument. Because of that, this lends itself very well to partial application. So what partial application does is you specify how you want to fill any number of arguments to a specific function, and it will return a function that will take any of the other arguments that you have and append them to the end of the call to this function that is already preloaded with the first set of parameters that you set in your partial. So I know that's I'm horrible at explaining things, so let me just actually show you what I'm talking about. Typically you do this with bind. So what I would do here is I would do send message, and I would do send.bind, provide some sort of context. That way that's how it binds, or it binds this function to a specific context. So the this operator inside of that function will refer to whatever you pass here. And then here we actually put in the arguments that we want to fill. So since that first argument needs to be filled with chat:"message, this should work. Now, the one thing that makes me very concerned here, and one of the bummers with doing partials with bind, is that you need to specify a context here. Now with this send method, I'm not really too sure what the context of this should be, and I don't even think it's available for me, and it can't really be guaranteed to be available for me at bind time. So bind isn't really going to work here for this, but that's okay because we have included Lodash into the mix. Now Lodash, like I said before, is just a real awesome utility library. It has many utility functions that you can use. One of the methods that it uses, or one of the utility functions it provides, is a partial that doesn't set anything about the this. It lets the this be whatever this is, and it just allows you to do partial application to it. So we pretty much get the benefit of bind without having to specify a context. So there's two things I really like about Lodash. The first and most important is their adherence to Semver. They have not broke any of my applications that I brought them in, and I always will bring them in with a carrot. I bring a lot of things in with a carrot, but they're one of the few that I don't lose sleep over because I have not been broke by them yet. If that happens, that'll be a bummer, but they have a pretty good track record for me. The other thing is you can do things like this. Because I build bundles that get delivered, I don't want to bring in the entire Lodash library. So I can do Lodash and put in function, like namespace it, because partial is part of the function namespace. And I can just bring in partial. So what this does is it only brings in that function into my build. So if I go back from here, let me straighten this up, I should now have partial available to me, which is really cool. So now I can just do partial and pass in the function that I want, and we will replace that with that, and we'll delete to this, and do one of these. So now I should get back a send function loaded with that chat message, and then any parameter that I pass into that will just be passed to this function and applied after my chat message is on. So we can go here and we'll give this what I like to call a test. We hit enter and there it is, message test. It's working exactly the same way that it was before. So that's how you would use a partial application. There's many reasons for it, but this is one of the more common use cases for it. Because now we can create different partials. If, say, we have a send status or something like that, we can go ahead and do send status, and maybe that's namespaced to, heck, I don't know, we'll do chat status. And now everyone can just call this status function and they'll already be preloaded with this. So before we can call this feller done, there's one more thing here, one more smell that we really need to address. Now, it's a very, very distinct smell, and it's the kind of smell that will cost you many, many, many hours of development time and maintenance time once this goes into production. More than likely it will. It may not, but chances are it's going to. Let's see, the smell is up on the screen. Let's see if you can spot it. Go ahead. I'll wait. Did you spot it? Well, I'm sure you did, but for the other people that may not have, let me just point it out to you. So we have chat::message here, and remember this is on the server, so this is out of our application domain space, our application domain. We're also specifying the same message here. So if for some reason, say they did dance party as the namespace, and you know what, we will do chat dance party because that's better. Dance part. I like that. It's one part of a dance. Okay. So say they have dance party here. What that means is if we're in production and this changes, we're going to have to be informed of that change, and we're going to have to make the same change on our end, which means it's going to force us to release a new version, and it's going to force them to have to up their version with this change to bring in our change that matches the change that they made. So in development, or when this is in production and everything starts breaking, things get really, really hairy. A lot of mistakes are made, and this situation is better avoided anyway. So this is actually we have a simple fix that we can do to this. It really sucks that we have to get rid of this partial though, because we already set it up there. But we're still going to do a partial application, but we're just going to do it in a different place. So one of the ways that we can do this, and the way I'm going to implement here, is we can actually do the partial on the adapter. So what we can do here is we will have send message, and send message, we can just do socket.emit, and we'll go back now that we have reference to a context that we can apply to this. This is the perfect time to use bind. Then we don't have bind in, or we don't have Lodash in here. Lodash is part of our build system, and remember this is on our consumers domain. So if we do bind, we can bind right to socket. And here we'll pass chat message as the bound argument. Okay, so now we have that partial application. Let's do one more thing. We'll go ahead and we'll var and emit here. And with this emit, we will just do socket.emit so we can get rid of that namespacing here and shorten this line up. We'll just delete to E, do it again. And now, it's a little bit shorter. So now we're going to have this send message in here. So remember here, we're looking for something called send. No, we don't want that anymore. Actually, let's go ahead and get rid of this Lodash piece. We should probably save this just so I don't forget. And down here, we need to bring in send message. Okay, so we'll do send message just like that. So down here, all we really need to do is just delete all of this out, and now send message will be part of this function. So if we save this, or will be a function on this controller. So if we save this, hopefully nothing breaks. We'll do a little test 2222. We'll hit enter and we have message test 22. Now the most important thing here is this can change since this is in our consumer space. The only part that we're coupled to is this send message. They can do whatever they want here. So they can make a change. This change would be on this would be on the JavaScript that they include with their file, or on their end to do their bootstrapping of us. So they can change this all day long and not create a need for us to version here. You know what? We can even for now. No, that's fine. We don't want to do that. So I think this is a lot cleaner. It's going to save me a lot of heartache, and I'm not going to hate past me. Future me is probably going to be like, gosh darn, past me, you did so good. Alright, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and look at our GD here. This is us changing our client domain to bring in send message instead of send, which makes more sense. And then here, this is us pulling send message instead and composing, straight passing that through as send message. So that's a lot cleaner, a lot nicer to look at. Well, it's not really much nicer to look at. Since we're doing it like that, let's go ahead and do this. Just for now, we're going to get some more methods in there, but we might as well make it clean for what it is. So now that we made that change, let's just do a little test. Happiness is on the way. And we have happiness is on the way. Wow, that's a very nice message. Good. Okay, we'll just do another review of this. Yeah, actually that looks much better. I'm glad I did that. All right, we have that. Oh, we can clean this up too, because we went ahead and did some vertical alignment on that. Okay. So let's take another look-see-loo, see if we find anything. Looks good to me. Alright, so let's go ahead and GST, make sure we didn't add any files. Now we can get commit all, and we will do lipstick on send message flow. Alright.
Well, that's going to do it for this segment. Be sure to come back next time. We'll be laying the groundwork for being able to receive messages from the server. It's a little bit trickier than sending it, but I think we'll be able to do it. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest videos, be sure to hit subscribe. And if you want to like or comment or anything like that, your feedback is greatly appreciated. So remember, if you find yourself bored in life, chances are you're probably not doing it right.